Guys, good evening. How are we doing? It is Wednesday, the 2nd of December 2020. This is day 2 of 25 days of mental health. Just to recap on yesterday, it was predominantly just an introduction and just to give anyone watching this a bit of a depth about myself, a small fraction of my background with mental health, and this is going to be obviously the continuation of the journey. Day 2, today's episode. Are we calling it episode? Yeah, let's stick to episode, it sounds quite groovy. Today's episode is going to be on parenting. I'm obviously aware that some people that watch this might not have kids, might not want kids either, but hopefully some of the things I'm going to discuss will resonate. Parenting. So, before being a parent to 2 kids, I was an individual, and I like to think of myself as still an individual, but I just happen to have kids and I am a dad as well. It's like a different role, in one, since the age of about 8 years old, I remember wanting to have a kid. I thought, you know what, I can't wait to have my own little kid and be a dad. I'm so excited. I think it's going to be an amazing experience. This is what I'm designed for, blah blah blah. And then I had a kid. Wow. My background before working in the oil and gas was actually working with children from the age range between 2 and 10 years old. So I used to help run 2 different very successful children's companies, which worked with children through imaginative play, fitness, educational learning, etc., which was really well. Loved it. Got a lot out of it. It got a lot out of me as well, which is good. But when I had my son, the first 3 days was great, and then it went drastically downhill. Drastically, and I say that with intensity because, you know, a lot of people tell you before you have a kid that it's going to be the best experience in your entire life, and I'm not saying it's not, but there's probably a lot of experiences I've had that it's just the same, and I know that probably sounds a little bit harsh and might sound a little bit brutal, but that's the honest truth. It was great having my son, but I don't know anyone to this day that will admit that having a screaming baby for 3 to 4 hours at a time, that high-pitched level screeching, is fun. I don't know anyone that enjoys that, and that's the sort of things that people don't really discuss. So they tell you, oh, when you have a baby and you see them smile and you have a cuddle with them, it really is just amazing, and it puts life into perspective, and you know, which again, I get it, but that is the smallest fraction in a 24-hour period. And don't get me wrong, it is a great feeling, but when you've got 100 bad moments in a day, and they are bad, in fact they're absolutely horrendous, does it really outweigh the smile? It didn't for me, and I spent the majority of a year hating my son. I didn't hate him for what he was like, but it's how it made me feel. And I was working offshore. I would do my 3 and 3, so 3 weeks onshore, 3 weeks offshore, and every time I came home there was something that had changed, whether it was a medicine increase, the bottle ounce had increased, the nappies had changed, the routine had changed, something had always changed. And I actually found it very difficult to learn all these things to begin with. So coming home to then find out that everything I had learned that previous trip, which I found difficult, had now changed. And that triggered so much anxiety for me, to the fact that I didn't want to be around my son. All he done was scream for my other half, and that made me feel second. You know, I'm used to being in the, you know, the fitness side of things, or football, and always winning. So to be second, yeah, I hated it. Absolutely hated it. he stole all the attention, but yet he screamed his little head off, and that was okay. And I didn't really want to do anything with him. Don't get me wrong, there was some moments during the day where I thought, oh, this is brilliant. But when it came to night feeds, I hated it. I didn't want to get up and feed him. I just wanted my other half to do it, because I was thinking, well, what's the point of me feeding him? Because all he's going to do is bloody scream. And I just resented him. Which again, it does bring a lot of tension between not just parents, but obviously partners as well. I can understand why a lot of partners break up during the early stages of a baby, because it really is bloody hard, to be honest. So my anxiety used to go through the roof, and when I done a night feed, I found it very hard to settle my son. So what I used to do is, it could be 2, maybe half 2, sometimes 3 in the morning. What I used to do was do the feed, put them in a pram, and go out running with them around the whole of Aberdeen, because I was that scared of just sitting in the living room like a normal parent and just sitting with him on my knee or trying to put him back to sleep. I was that scared that he would cry. I would run half marathons at 2, 3 in the morning around the whole Aberdeen in the pitch black. It wouldn't matter what weather it was, whether it was dry, cold, windy, raining. It really didn't bother me. For me, that was my coping mechanism to getting through it. And people will say, that is absolutely mental. And you're right, it is mental. In fact, it's nuts. I look back now and think, why the hell did I do that? What was wrong with me that made me do that? And it's not until I had that realization that I look back now and think, yeah, my anxiety was horrendous. I just couldn't see it. It then leads to frustration. That frustration leads to anger. That anger then leads to build up. That build up then leads to an outburst. And you know, kids feel that. Kids resonate off that, and it's horrendous. Really is horrendous. And I think to myself, why do people not discuss that? Because I actually thought our son was the only one that experienced this, dairy intolerant and all that stuff, and colic and reflux. And I thought, why have we got hit with all these things? Why is it us? Why is it happening to us? Are we the only ones? And it wasn't still I started talking to other parents. They're like, oh yeah, that's actually happened to us. We felt the exact same. And I'm thinking, why have we all been going through this false perfection, this let's all get baby pictures taken with smiling babies that are amazing, without saying, yeah, see that smile, it actually took 3.5 hours to make that smile happen, but yet you put it on social media and that's all you see. Don't get me wrong, I was definitely one of them. You know, I'll happily hold my hands up and say I did get the baby shoot, got some stunning pictures, but at the same time I dreaded leaving the shoot, I dreaded going home, and I dreaded the whole year after that baby shoot. Having a kid is so challenging, and I really, really, really wish somebody had gave me a heads up, because it broke me. My son totally snapped me in half, and it's only been probably the past 1.5 years that I've managed to build myself back up. And then what do I go and do? I have another kid. The challenges are still there, but I'm aware of them now. I'm actually out walking my baby girl just now. I'm actually out walking her just now because this is one of those things that work. I know that if I put her in the pram and I go for a walk, it calms her down. And I know it's something I can tolerate. And you know, if she does start screaming now, then well, I just cancel the video, pick her up and give her a little hug, and you know, do something from there on. But having a kid is so tough, and I hope if there's somebody watching this that maybe has a newborn kid, or maybe has a child that has been difficult, you don't have to be a superhuman parent. You don't. I don't know if that actually exists. Just be yourself. Struggle when you need to. Don't put up the hard barrier and say, oh, but I'm fine. Oh, your baby's so cute. Yeah, she's so cute, or he's so cute. It's just perfect. Perfect doesn't exist. Just be honest. Be totally honest, because what you'll find is that you'll actually have better discussions with other parents out there, because they'll understand and they'll resonate with it a lot more than just pretending you have the perfect kid. Especially right now, a lot of us aren't able to go to the baby classes and all those children classes that we're usually able to do. So talking about it just now is so much more important than it ever has been, because there's so many parents are locked up in their own houses, probably scared to get out, and they don't know who to talk to. Talk to each other. Reach out to somebody on your Facebook page and tell them what's going on. You know, I will always respect everyone's opinions. I might disagree with them, which is also fine, but I'll always respect their opinions. But why I say that is because there's some opinions from people that don't have kids that might not understand, but you can still talk to a parent like an individual. We're all people. We're not all parents until we have a child, but we are all people and we can relate to each other. So use your ears twice as much as your mouth. I'm sure people have heard that that's why we've got twice as much ears as we do mouths, because we need to listen. But don't jump in and try and critique a parent until you've spent a day in their shoes. I'm sure there would have been a lot of people that could have easily critiqued me for my parenting and my choice of decisions as a father. I know I have, but I like to think I've learned from them and I won't make the same mistakes again. Making mistakes is so important, that's how we learn. But don't try and put someone down or call somebody a bad parent or anything like that. It's horrible. It's not really your right to say that because you don't know the whole situation. But I think discussing it openly with people, it creates the word problem, and it turns it into a challenge, and it is a lifeline, and it is a reach out for help. And if somebody does reach out for help, take their hand, take the help, take the conversation, take the time out, take it all. Yeah, but don't take it all on by yourself. Don't take all that stress, that pressure, that anxiety, that frustration, that anger. Don't take all that on by yourself, because you're not going to win. It will beat you. It will beat you to a pulp. It will beat you down. And for what reason? And for what reason? Because you didn't want to talk about it. When you break it down, it is a little bit silly that we put ourselves through absolute hell because we don't want to talk about these things. They should be discussed. This should be the normal conversation, not hidden behind a profile picture or a new piece of clothing or anything like that. Parenting is bloody hard. I find it very challenging every single day, but I do try and get better, and I do try and improve as much as I can. My son broke me in half, but he fixes me every day. True, really true. Sometimes they have to break us down to build us back up. You can learn a lot, kids, a hell of a lot from them. You can also learn a lot from other people, but only if you open up. Yeah, that is my day 2 of 25 days of mental health. Each day I'll only really highlight a subject and go with it to make it real. I won't really preempt things. If I do, I wouldn't be sticking to what I think's best. It has to be real, it has to be authentic, it has to be original, and of course it has to be me. I wonder if I'm going to get pooped on. Well, that's lucky. That's all from me, guys. In the next couple of days, couple of weeks, we're going to have some guests that are going to be sharing their own challenges. I look forward to having them on. A lot of people that mean a hell of a lot to me, which is really important, and I've reached out on the back end of the first episode. So guys, it is so important to talk just now. It really, really is. Let's do it together. Let's get through this challenging time. And you never know, hey, by Christmas time, it might be the best one you have yet. Here's hoping. So let's have a positive outlook, right? Guys, enjoy the rest of your day. Whatever you're doing, wherever you are, positive energy, good to go.